it's easy for you to say be positive and have a positive mindset when you've got everything going well for you.
But when I look back on it, I go, well, I knew how to do it and I just did it. One piece of advice, one nugget of advice, and hopefully we've given several on this podcast, could change your life forever.
Welcome to another episode of the Extraordinary Millionaire podcast with myself, Martin Foster, and Nicholas Wallwork, my co-author and co-founder of the Extraordinary Millionaire. Last week, we covered a lot of topics from the Rock Bottom Paradox book, where we learned how to accept rock bottom, accept where you were, to start that foundational process of moving forward. This week, we're going to move into some of the practical tools that really get you going, to get you moving, to get you going on to that next step. And I'm going to do it in a different way this week. I'm actually going to interview Nicholas a little bit on the Extraordinary Millionaire book, why he wrote it, how he uses some of those tools in his day-to-day life and in his business life, and hopefully impart some great things onto you guys.
Absolutely. I mean, today, this is the part of my life that I'm most excited about is how do you become successful? How do you differentiate yourself from any other human being on this planet and become extraordinary? For me, this book was my life story distilled into one book. It's a life's work, if you will. We have the same mindset. We have the same goal with this book and the series of books in the Extraordinary Millionaire brand. And of course, we co-authored the Rock Bottom Paradox, which is the sister book. We talked about that last episode. But it's the distillation of every tool and technique that all successful people use. It's not just our information and knowledge, which we are successful people in our own right, but it's taking all of my life's readings and your life's knowledge from other successful people, the Richard Bransons, the Warren Buffetts, the Elon Musks, and love them or hate them, some of these highly successful people, they all have written their own books and they all give their knowledge out to some degree. So the Extraordinary Millionaire is a distillation of all the tools and techniques that it takes to become successful, whatever that means to you.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions for you now, already off the bat from what you said. So you've spoken about what the Extraordinary Millionaire is,
Yes.
As far as the book is concerned. Let me go into the why, because you talk about the why, the importance of your why in the book. And there's two parts to it, first of all, that I want to ask you. You go through the why of your property business in the book, why you did that and why it was important to you. I want to know why, number one, the Extraordinary Millionaire was important to you. Why did you want to write the book? And number two is I want to know why do you...
Lots of whys.
I know, there's a lot of whys. Why do you want to...
Why, Daddy?
Why do you want to teach other people to be successful? Why not just do it for yourself? Another why.
Just why? It's a very good question. It's a huge passion from within me that wants to give back. And actually, I'm lucky that I feel that way, because that is one of the tools to become successful, is giving back. Giving back emotionally, content-wise, financially where you can. And another tool, the law of attraction, is... whatever you give out, the universe will help you back at some point in the future.
Yes.
Or not, but often it will. And that concept of the law of attraction is just that. It's put out positivity, and positive things will come back to you, in very basic description of that. And obviously we go into that in a lot more detail in The Extraordinary Millionaire. But for me, I knew I would be successful from a very young age, and I made it my business to learn how to become successful. It was no luck. There are people that get lucky. They start a quick business and then it booms and they make millions or hundreds of millions overnight. Or they'll win the lottery, or they'll, do whatever. But there's another way, which is just hard work and passion, and finding your why.
Yeah.
Your why. And when you find those things, you will become successful, and you put them together. And so I started to read the books of other successful people from a young age, my late teens, early 20s. I didn't know what I wanted to do then, but I knew that I just wanted to be a millionaire. I wanted to be a millionaire one day. It wasn't just financial. It was the freedom and choice and life that would allow me to become successful.
So that's
happiness with my family.
That's interesting. So your why was your happiness with the family, the time it would give you to spend, and the choice.
Yeah.
And you tied that directly to your goal, which in your case was having £1 million in the bank, let's say. So your why was tied to your goal. And you cover that in the book, in The Extraordinary Millionaire. You go through the process of the importance of tying your why to your goal, because otherwise a goal is a dream, right?
Absolutely. You say people are dreamers, daydreamers, or dreamers. And what that means is they've got the same goals, but they just will never take action towards those goals. So it's really important to then go and take the action, and passion drives action. If you're not passionate about the subject you're teaching, you won't be good at it.
Yes.
And you won't work hard at it. So yeah, finding my why was not just to become that millionaire. That was the goal. The journey was learning along the way how to get there, and then ultimately sharing that with other people. What I love about The Extraordinary Millionaire is I can say to someone, have a copy of my book, or buy it for $9.99, whatever it is, on Amazon, and you will learn everything that I've learned in 25 years of doing property and investing and starting multiple businesses. It's all in that book. If you follow each chapter of that book, and each chapter is a different mindset tool for success, based off my experiences, but distilled hundreds of successful entrepreneurs. And I picked out the common tools and traits and things and routines and mindsets, beliefs and actions that they were doing. And I saw a common theme, and those common themes are all in that book.
Yeah, which is interesting. And as I said, this is almost the culmination of your why on paper, and it teaches others to tie the two together. You said something interesting about a daydreamer won't take action. To me, that means that without a why, a goal leads to it's nothing more than procrastination. And so the procrastination comes in because you haven't tied your goal and your why together. Tie the two together, you take action, otherwise you just procrastinate and daydream, and that's it. And you show that really, really well through the storytelling in the book, that when the main character tied the two together, then things started to happen and action was taking place. I'm
glad you mentioned the characters in the book, because it's really important for people at home to realize that the book is written as a story. It's not a boring business book.
No,
it's not
it definitely isn't.
Charts and graphs and follow these things. It's a storytelling book between the rat racer, who's the extraordinary millionaire, and the rat racer. The rat racer is the guy that's stuck in the rat race, the 9 to 5, doesn't know how to break out. He's the daydreamer. And his name is George. And there's this dialogue throughout the book between the extraordinary millionaire and the rat racer, George, his neighbor. And they talk through all different scenarios and how they approach things differently. And it's a fantastic book because you can really read it. I've read it several times now, and you can't put it down. Well, like a good novel.
I find myself wanting to know where the story ends, and I know where the story ends. So it is fantastically rereadable, and that's the great thing about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And my why is I've ticked that box of becoming a millionaire, multi-millionaire, and my why is far bigger than that, I've realised now.
Yeah.
So it's interesting when you achieve that. Well, what's next? Next is helping other people do the same.
Yeah.
Because I found it, I'm going to say this, I mean it lightly, I found it easy. It wasn't easy. There's been a number of rock bottoms that we discussed in the previous episode of this podcast. So make sure you guys check that out on the playlist. But when I look back on it, I go, well, I knew how to do it and I just did it. Like there was no doubt that I would achieve the goals that I've achieved. And so I want people to understand how easy it can be. And if they follow those tools in The Extraordinary Millionaire, or if you're in a rock bottom now, read the rock bottom paradox first, and that'll take you through the journey up to Extraordinary Millionaire. And if you do follow these things continually, it's not to read the book, forget about it. It's not that kind of technique. It's understanding the key principles we talk about in the book, employing them in your own life, like I do still today. I'm still grateful every day. I'm grateful to be here now with you, talking about this book and sharing this knowledge with other people. I'm positive. I focus on positivity all day, every day. I'm not always positive, but I do my best to be always positive.
I would like to say that when you said it's easy, I think that the mixture of gratitude and positivity make the journey easy. Because you're not, you hit a rock bottom, but you now have those tools to make that a very short rock bottom inside yourself. And that makes the journey easy. I think it's hard when you dwell on the bad times rather than, as we discussed in our last episode, you think things are happening to you, not for you. And when you realize that difference, then the journey becomes easy. So, I mean, I know you. I've known you for a couple of years now. I know that your journey wasn't easy, and hasn't been easy. And I know how hard you work. And I think it's paramount, or it's testimony to the tools in the book that you feel it's easy. So
yeah, that's okay. That's nice to hear you say that.
Yeah. So that would be the difference,
I would work very hard.
Nick, look, I would like to know. So you've called it's dialogue between the characters and the rat racer and the extraordinary millionaire. Why that word extraordinary in Millionaire? Why not just millionaire?
I think the key. That's a good question. It's becoming a whole millionaire. So it's not just one thing. It's not just money in the bank. That's almost irrelevant. You could almost call the book Become Extraordinary.
Well, I think the money in the bank's the easy part, right? There's nothing extraordinary about having money in the bank.
No, there's plenty of millions. It's not extraordinary. I think to become extraordinary, you will become a millionaire in whatever you do. That's a byproduct of being extraordinary. And I think the tools in the book and the research that I've done over my 25 years of being in business are, if you put all of those together and you do all of them, then you become extraordinary. It's almost, it could be how to become extraordinary. You don't have to have the word millionaire in there.
Yeah.
So it's about multiple different personality traits, rituals, daily routines. We talk about mindfulness and optimism in the book.
Yes.
That's a topic I wanted to move on to. And if you become the person in the book, The Extraordinary Millionaire, if you say, well, I'm going to do these things, I'm going to force it, even if you don't do it naturally, I'm going to force it. Like any good routine and any good practice, it will become part of your personality and your routine. That's the key here. This isn't a do this spreadsheet. It's not buy this property, invest in this, and you'll become rich. It's nothing like that. It's not a get rich quick scheme. This is a program for your mind.
Yes.
And the front of the book, the image sketch that I came up with was exactly that. It's these things in your mind. If you keep them in your mind and do them religiously, it becomes part of you.
And I think, so for me, you say in the book, or one of the parts of the book, you say the phrase, I was a millionaire in my mind long before I was on paper.
Yeah.
And I think that this book really shows that the first half of it, for anybody that hasn't read it yet, is all about the mindset tools that Nick has used in his life to move forward. You mentioned a couple of those. You mentioned the mindset and the positivity, Nick. And I read a comment online the other day from one of our readers that said, it's easy for you to say be positive and have a positive mindset when you've got everything going well for you. So what is your advice to people that might be watching this that are finding themselves at rock bottom? How what would you suggest they do to get that positive mindset?
I mean, I think it's a different answer for different people, and I think that's why we do our coaching programs. It's why I do mentoring and consultation. It's not just wealth creation, property investing that I work on with people. I work on their mindset. Part of working with people is finding out what ticks their boxes, what's their why, helping them find their why. And I think, helping them find their passion is key to helping them find positivity. When you've got a goal and you then understand how to start taking steps towards that goal, that'll help your positivity. Like I said, one of the tools we talk about in the book is mindfulness. And that's the technique of being happy in every moment. And it's looking around, looking around this podcast studio, just liking the flowers in the background.
Exactly.
and the lovely flowers here. And, without getting all, spiritual and wishy-washy about it, we've all had that moment where we stand on the side of a river on a bridge and we look out, we just take a deep breath and we just take in the view. And in that moment, you feel truly happy and it sort of washes over you, doesn't it? Happy, you sort of go, and you immediately just feel happy in that moment. And you can learn to be happy in any moment. That's a real phrase that I use.
I would ask anyone to, if they're feeling like that, is to do what you say, come into that moment. And it's almost impossible to be not positive when you're sitting in that moment. And I think that's so you've answered the question, is when you're finding it difficult to be positive, bring yourself back to just the present, to right now.
Yes.
Not worry about, we said in the last podcast, don't worry about yesterday, don't worry about tomorrow, concentrate on today and the here and now. And that's where the positivity comes into it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, meditation helps do that. And mindfulness is in my, quick description I like to give people of what is mindfulness. It's a one breath meditation.
Yes.
Right, that's the simplest way of describing it. Take a deep breath now. Wherever you are, just take that breath, look around, be happy that you've got some time to be watching this podcast.
Yeah.
Be happy that you're on the road to your work.
And I use that every day, Nick. I use those little 1 minute, one breath meditations almost every day.
It's so much more powerful than a 10-minute meditation. To find the time for a one breath meditation takes no time.
Yeah.
But yet we do it so little.
Yeah.
Unless you train yourself to do it and remember to do it.
And so easy to do,
So easy to do.
Roll yourself back from your desk, close your eyes, take one breath meditation, waiting to pick up the kids from school, one breath meditation. There's so many opportunities in the day to do it. It's crazy.
The kids tearing each other's hair out and beating each other up.
You do that, and I'm kind of in my head, I'm visualing standing in the morning, looking out on a nice view with a cup of coffee in my hand, just going.
But you use it, it's interesting, isn't it? So you use it at different times. You use it to truly appreciate a positive moment, or you can use it to get through in the a truly difficult moment.
Yeah.
And that's, I guess, using the rock bottom paradox analogy with our sister book, The Extraordinary Millionaire.
It ties hand in hand with things like gratitude and visualization and things like that. That 1 minute, that one breath meditation just leads into the next thing. You can't help but be grateful in that moment. You can't help but be positive in that moment.
No, absolutely. And I think it helps you tie into another tool that we talk about in the book, which is visualization.
I wanted to ask you about that because we've had comments saying visualization is nothing but fancy daydreaming.
Absolute rubbish. The analogy that I use the example I use, I should say, for a visualization is when you're about to go on stage, or you're going to come onto this podcast and you're nervous, right? Well, you talked to me earlier that one of your fears was getting in front of the camera, which you've successfully done a number of times now. When I started out, I was absolutely scared, rotten, and I remember going to this studio that was a proper TV studio, big studio with multiple cameras. It was my first ever time in front of the camera. I was absolutely bricking it. Got through it, and it was a baptism of fire. But I use this example when you take that breath just before you go on stage. But as you take that mindful breath, that meditative breath or number of breaths, you're visualizing a positive outcome.
Mm-hmm.
You're visualizing yourself nailing it on stage. You're visualizing yourself talking confidently to your guests and your audience. And I think one of the scariest things for a lot of people is public speaking.
Yes.
And so imagine yourself in that situation, standing up there, the crowd loves you, they're applauding, they're enjoying, they're laughing at your jokes, and they want you back.
Yeah.
And as you visualize that before you go out, it'll help you get the confidence to go out.
Yeah.
And
It's interesting because you mentioned it both in The Extraordinary Millionaire and your free ebook on visualization on extraordinarymillionaire.com.
yeah,
about how you used that, and from a young age you visualized yourself first having a Ferrari, let's say, and then you reached that, and then you've
level of
always
passive income was in the middle of a family
and then
picture.
and then the TV show, like you've mentioned, you
Yeah.
visualized yourself on a TV show, and it's not dreaming, it's you're visualizing yourself achieving your goal. And as we've previously discussed, your why is linked to your goal, and the visualization is how you're going to get to your goal. You feel and see yourself in that position.
Yeah.
Is that something you've always done from a young age? Is that something that you
Yeah, it is. And I also realized that all of these other successful people do the same. They all visualize. And now when you see it, it's really interesting. I like Formula One, and I see Lewis Hamilton sat in his car, and you can see him visualizing the start. You see him breathing, you see him, they look focused. That's exactly what they're doing. They are visualizing them leading the race.
Again, as a massive F1 fan, the best way to put this is, have you seen when they do the track and the drivers sit there, close their eyes, and they're visualizing themselves, and they're telling you where they're turning left, and they're changing the gears. They've got that visualization process down to the minute level. I think that people are going to find getting it to that level difficult. I mean, so what tips could you maybe give to people to how could they visualize in their day-to-day life?
Well, one easy way to visualize, which is an example we talk about in the book, is writing a dream board.
Yes.
Print off your dreams. Sit down, take some considered effort to think about your goals, and it doesn't matter if they're big pile of money or a Ferrari or if it's sort of simpler things and more emotional things like having a happy family and being happy. Being happy is a goal. You don't have to be a millionaire, or you don't have to be rich to be happy. Of course not. Sometimes people would argue the opposite. That certainly doesn't buy you happiness.
I've met many an unhappy millionaire, Nick.
Oh God, loads. Yeah, loads. And they haven't got this mindset.
No.
There's plenty of successful people that have done it a different way, through hard work and drudgery and or in a high-paid job they hated for their whole life, and then when they get to 60 and retire, they've got a couple of million in the bank, but you know what? They sacrificed their entire life to get there.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean they're an extraordinary millionaire. They might be a millionaire, but they're not extraordinary.
And we talk about that in the rock bottom paradox as well, how the journey, I think that the final part of the rock bottom paradox is understanding that the journey is the goal. That's what life is.
That's what life is.
You I think so often you can be so focused on the end of your goals, you forget to live in today. You forget to live, and that's exactly what you've just said. And
yeah, absolutely. And so I would, going back to the dream board and just finishing off that concept, I would physically print off pictures of the things that I wanted. And in the middle was my family. I had a passive income goal of X amount per month. Then I had some material things, small things like my own private island, trip to Necker Island, small things like that. Some material things, but happiness and family is at the core, and then the material things come second. But for me, there was plenty of material things. I don't think you should feel bad about that.
No, you shouldn't. Why should you feel bad about wanting things?
No. And now I have it on my phone. I have it in my notes app, and I put the pictures in my notes app, and I just scroll through that every so often. And I date it, and it does change. Your goals change. It's really important to look at that every 6 months, 12 months. My kids do it. I've got my kids do their own dream boards.
Yeah.
And we look back on some of theirs. One was like, eat as much chocolate as I want, these sort of things.
Yeah.
But it's getting them to think about fun goals as well.
Yeah.
Life shouldn't all be...
It's interesting that you mentioned your children, because there is a part in the book about you where you talk about doing your dream boards with your daughter.
Yeah.
I'd like to take that one step further, because you also talk about positive affirmations, and the importance of positive affirmations, not just for us as adults, but for children as well.
Definitely. In our family, we give our kids positive affirmations every day. When I tuck my kids into bed, I say, "You're the best. You're the kindest, sweetest, most loving person." I talk to them in a positive way that builds hopefully their self-confidence, their belief in themselves. And I think confidence and love are probably the two most important things you can give your kids, in my opinion. The confidence will allow them to go out into the world and do anything they believe they can do. You're only as good as you believe you are. If you believe you can't do it, you can't do it.
And I think that's such an amazing gift that you're giving them, to build that self-belief and self-love in your children from an early age. I think is such an important thing.
And the ability to fail, get rid of their fear of failure. Just go and have another go at something else. Have another go. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
As long as you're having fun doing it. There's no punishments for failure. There shouldn't be in life.
I mean, talking about other people's lessons, I think that, any success is only built on the stepping stones of failure, isn't it? You fail at something 100 times, you know how not to do it next time. And that's interesting, because we often get questioned about, why should I come and seek Nick's knowledge on developments, for example? And I think that that's an important lesson there, is that you've built your success in the footsteps of failure. You didn't just go out and everything worked first time. You've paid your dues. You lost everything in the 2008 financial crisis, and you built back up from there. So what would you say to somebody that asked you that question, like, why should I spend money coming to you to get your advice and things like that,
I think I not only do property investing, development, consultation. I do life coaching, really, in a way.
Yeah.
I'm there as an outsourced business partner for someone that wants to become successful, and their chosen field mostly would be property development, but I can help people start any sort of business. I've started multiple businesses and done lots of different things and made a success and built multiple multi-million pound companies, and for other clients.
Yeah.
And so I think if someone wants help with their journey in life and business, and they're maybe in business alone, which can be a very lonely place, and they want someone to bounce off, that's often a kind of client that comes to me as well, where they want that outsourced business partner.
Yeah.
That's got some good experience, got some great experience, 25 years of experience of doing this. To help them grow faster.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I love giving back with the Extraordinary Millionaire book and Rock Bottom and all our books, that content and helping people accelerate their journey, 100 times faster than I did it. Took me 25 years to get to today. And I could have done that in 5 years.
Yes.
Really, like easily, maybe less. If I'd known everything I know today that was in my book, The Extraordinary Millionaire. And our book, Rock Bottom Paradox.
Yeah.
If you have those tools and you apply them, you can accelerate your growth, exponentially. And one other thing I'd like to say on this is that people need to understand the value of advice. Don't just go, it's just another book. The advice in this book and the advice that we give in our coaching sessions, coaching products on the extraordinarymillionaire.com, and my consulting with people. One piece of advice, one nugget of advice, and hopefully we've given several on this podcast, could change your life forever. It could be, I find that property because you gave me that bit of advice, or I've used that development finance broker because you've been through 15 and that's the best in the country, and you've directly referred them to me as a personal contact. And that one referral could change your life in terms of all of your property investments. So they're just a couple of examples, but there are hundreds. A client asked me literally yesterday, I was out with a new client. He's got, I think, 7 sites across London. He's bought them. He's got planning on half of them. He's had 2 or 3 failures of planning on sites. And I'm going to come in and try and get planning on those sites on the 3rd attempt because he wasn't able to. I could have probably got him planning more likely on the 1st attempt.
Yeah.
Sometimes a 2nd attempt. Where we've learned what the council really want, and we'll adapt and we'll go back in and get it. And so if he'd taken my advice 3 years ago, we would have probably had him make hundreds of thousands, if not millions more, because advice is critical. It's what drives intellectual property. It's what drives businesses. Every business is just a collection of people. And if you have a collection of good people with the right knowledge and the right advice, you can excel.
And it's so interesting you said that, because I know we're not going to cover it in this episode, but in an upcoming episode, we're going to be talking about the power of what you call the dream team and using other people.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think it's important that people understand that it's not just you that they're getting when they engage with you. It's your team and the team that you've surrounded yourself with to make yourself successful.
It's critical. And like I said, those referrals to my power team members as part of helping people on their own journey, building wealth and success through property, is invaluable. And it will make you extraordinary in your own business to have the right team. I would not have got a fraction of where I am on my own. It's impossible. You need good people around. You need a good team as the foundation for any business.
Yeah.
The good news is we have our merch store open. We're going to bang
We do.
it. Martin's wearing our jumper, one of our jumpers.
One of our
Lots
jumpers.
Hoodies, lots of T-shirts, lots of cool merch, talking positive affirmations.
Positive affirmations.
On the apparel, on the T-shirts.
Correct, yes. In fact, I've had people only yesterday ask me about that and say, always believe in yourself. Yeah, it's a good message. And I think that, let's be positive. Let's spread the message.
Love. And you know what? If all of our followers bought a T-shirt and spread the love, imagine how much love there would be in the world.
So much love.
So go out there, get a T-shirt on extraordinarymillionaire.com. There'll be links around this video. We also have the coaching program that we're putting out on the extraordinarymillionaire.com.
We do
2 weeks from rock bottom to extraordinary.
That's our next project. So that's something we were going to get into, and that really is a 12-month project from taking somebody from rock bottom to extraordinary in their lives. And it's a process that me and you have both used in our lives at various stages, time and again, so we know it works, and it's going to be great. I'd like to mention that on extraordinarymillionaire.com we have a number of coaching products and free resources as well. So
you get all the books.
You get all the books. Whenever we mention one of the concepts that we believe in is always be learning, so we have a lot of suggestions on supplemental reading. On that website.
Reading, supplementary as in like other people's books.
Yes.
We advise, like we talk about all the distillation of all these successful people. A lot of the books we've read that, form some of the ideas and tools and traits that we see as, similar between successful people. We recommend those books on the site. But, we don't make any money off it. It's just to help other people.
And on that basis, I mean, I would ask anybody to look at any entrepreneur or successful entrepreneur, and I guarantee they have an extensive library. And so we've given our recommendations of who and what we think you should read as well.
Really handy. Well, that's all for now. Mark,
it is.
Thanks for chatting through that with us. Hope you guys have enjoyed this episode of the Extraordinary Millionaire podcast. Please go out and get the books, The Rock Bottom Paradox and Extraordinary Millionaire. We know you'll love them. We know they'll change your life. And we'd love you to come on our journey, and let's do this journey together. Let's continue being extraordinary. See us at extraordinarymillionaire.com. Make sure you like and subscribe. Hit the bell icon so you get notified of future videos. We'll be doing another podcast very soon. So by liking and subscribing to this video, you'll get notified when the next one comes on.
Yes, you will.
And we're talking about some other tools for success. For now, goodbye.
Goodbye.